I don't. We'll see. We'll see. There's a
It says
button
it.
at
It
the
says
top.
live
I know.
it was 9-ish. It's 9:13. You guys will be shocked to learn that
Shocked, I say.
the guy who has been casting seems to not be able to tonight.
The internets won't work for him.
The internet doesn't work, and Anish was not able to troubleshoot it from this far away.
I couldn't remote into his computer. Exactly. I couldn't do it. I can't see. I don't know.
So for now, since actually I guess there will be people listening to audio only, though I don't know why you would do that. You've got Jay and Anish right now.
That's it.
Michael makes his appearance. I think he usually comes to one in October, and then he does one basketball one, and then
That's
he's
right.
exhausted, and he rests for the rest of the year.
His watch has ended.
He did want to be here.
He's up here, but I hesitate to click on him because I don't think I can see him. So we'll see.
Do you have to let him into the show?
No, I can see if his thing is working, if his internet is working, and it's not working. It's not working right now. I can't see anything.
Unplug your router and plug it back in, Boiler Dad.
It's fine. It's fine.
Do you know how that's you doing that's like official advice now? Like my computer was having some problem with connecting yesterday, and it said troubleshoot, and you know what it came back with after some spinning analysis? It came back with unplug your router, and I'm like, I know that turn it off and turn it on trick. You're not telling me anything.
It's a secret. It's a trick of the trade. It's a secret of the trade. Of course it worked because none of these machines make sense.
Boiler Dad just said he's with MetroNet customer service. I think I've already spied the problem. If it's called MetroNet, that's not good.
No, you don't want to be with UrbanNet.
MetroNet. That sounds like what you like if you're watching a sitcom and they like have the name of the internet provider. It's MetroNet. It's like Metro Bus, you know.
Metro Bus. That's so
well, doesn't it? I mean,
it's like one of those generic. Instead of Lay's, the bag of chips is called Pays.
Chips in the same font as Lay's.
That's so stupid. Why?
Kyle Seago, he's already commented on me looking svelte, even though you can only see me from the shoulders up. I guess I had a very fat face. That's only I can read.
Had?
Wow. Anish has already called me stupid and other things before we even went live.
That's right.
He's gotten awfully comfortable.
I'm sharp today. I'm coming in with him.
MetroNet. Greg Aquinas says Dollar General Skynet.
I know,
right.
Exactly.
MetroNet has become self-aware and has done us all a favor and taken Boiler Dad offline. Oh, sorry. That wasn't very nice.
It's the self-driving car that gets stuck in the middle of the street. That's MetroNet.
Whenever I think of a self-driving car having problems, I know it's usually catastrophic, but I always think of the little automated Roomba vacuum cleaners.
Of course.
Boop, and then it goes somewhere else. But that's not really how it goes with electric cars that are automated. They just
it does.
They become an inferno that can't be put out.
Those are just children on the street instead of walls. It's fine.
No, that's only one maker's cars.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We can't mention his name, otherwise he's not going to let it. Somehow we snuck onto Twitter or whatever it's called now,
X.
And so now
so much has changed since our last Handsome Hour. Do you know? Our last Handsome Hour was I think in December. This is our first Handsome Hour of 2023, which is.
It is. We've I think put too much basketball in for them to be qualified as handsome hours. But yes, in the previous ones, because Boiler Dad and I talked about Zach coming back, but that was too much basketball. That can't be classified.
I think you called it a
handsome
handsome beat or something.
There's the handsome beat off. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about basketball. I want to talk about the Purdue sports program that never lets me down, and that's Purdue football.
Low expectations, it'll never let you down.
So
4 years will let you down.
Have been thinking about doing a podcast, as you know, for a while.
Thought
we talk about it every
Thought
week.
is 90% of it. You don't actually have to do it.
And we're like, we should talk about this. Yeah. Okay, good job, everybody. Take 5. No, I was thinking about this, and I get so excited for football because, and this is ridiculous to say right now, but Purdue football very rarely lets you down. Now, when it's bad, you're not like shocked that it's bad. You're like, this is Purdue football. All right. And then like when they win 8 or 9 games, as they've done the last couple of years, that's exceeding, even if you said, oh, a really good season's 8 or 9 games, wins. You're still not expecting them to do that. You fully expect the banana peel. So
I mean, that's why '05 hurt so much, right? Which is that was the confluence of high expectations. And
I was going to say, you got to go back almost 20 years before to where there was a team where we actually were like, this is it. This is it. And then
did it turn out to be it? Do we have sources? Did it turn out to be it?
Was it it? Earpiece? Yeah, it was not it, as it turned out. But it's so rare that there's expectations. And I think we're dangerously close to expectations. Quote, I put it in air quotes, expectations. Nobody's expecting like 8-9 wins again this year, but people are legitimately excited.
There are too many good things being said, and I am scared.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it's already great, and again, I'm already glad. We talked about this. Nobody is, at least on this podcast, none of the four of us are going to say a bad word about the Jeff Brom era.
None of us?
I think there are nits to pick.
Neither of us.
There are nits to pick, which is very fair. But the era came at the perfect time, especially considering college football right now, and which we will talk about. We will spend most of the second half of this. If Boiler Down doesn't join us to actually inject Purdue football into this, we're going to just spend 2 hours talking about realignment. But it happened at the best time because Purdue was the least relevant. Again, we have to kind of mention this so often, but coming out of the Darrell Hazel era, Purdue wasn't just bad Purdue football. Back to the late 80s, early 90s bad. Purdue was literally the worst 4 years of its history and the worst program by far in FBS. And all of a sudden, there were good players on the team. Kansas was there, but we were knocking on the door.
Yeah.
And so to follow that with this era, it's awesome. It was perfect. It was great. It was exactly what was needed. Reinjected life. And now that this chapter has started, it's thankful that the old chapter happened and so glad that this new chapter is here. Because it seems like there are so many, and maybe this can lead us into talking about realignment, but there are so many college football programs either leaning into the past or grasping for something that isn't going to come. This is the Nebraska segment of the Handsome Hour. It's back. But Purdue is trying something new. Purdue looks different. Purdue sounds different. There are enough stories about how Jeff Brom's practices run so differently or how his practices were ran differently than Ryan Walters are run right now. It's just the vibe at the program is different. The fact that it's a defensive coach for the first time in, what do we determine, 35 years, something like that? 40
Who
years.
then went out and hired hired a young OC because he immediately knew, I'm not going to just make Purdue a defensive. That's not Purdue's thing. So,
recruited, and the first call was to the quarterback. And we can go down that story. So if you haven't read the Golden Black story about the recruitment of Hudson Card, it's incredible. It's so great. Every part of it is wonderful. My favorite part of the story is that so there are two parts that are tremendous. First, he, on his second day, I think, hires Graham Harrell and mails him a shirt or asks him his shirt size because he is currently recruiting for West Virginia, meets him in the airport, and goes straight to Hudson Card's house. Hands Graham Harrell the shirt, and they put him on, and they recruit him to Purdue. My second favorite point is that Illinois was recruiting him and had him in for a visit, and Purdue really wanted to get him on campus, and who picks him up from Illinois but the former Illinois Golden Boy himself, but Ryan Walters in his brand new Benz. Is that not different than the 1985 Accord or whatever Brom was driving? And they were just talking like people, like equals, and for the entire cornfield rich drive from Champaign to West Lafayette. Past East Lafayette. No, that's way on the other side, man. That's way on the other side.
That's right. It's on its way to your place. That's right. I forgot. It's in the eastern half of Indiana.
But so many teams, what I'm trying to say, so many teams are grasping for the last time that they achieved success, right? And Purdue feels like one of the few that is completely accepting of what college football is right now and what the needs of succeeding if you're a team like Purdue. If you're not in the top two tiers of college football, Purdue basketball again is probably one of the top 20 programs in the country at this point. I mean,
Sure.
like it's pretty clear. Purdue football is not that. Purdue football is not entitled to anything, which is why they have to be one of the teams that approaches this differently, that accepts the things that are right now, right?
Right.
And it just, I don't know, it is. I am thankful that this era has started the way it has, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's funny. We're excited that the era has started the way it has, and there hasn't been a bit
I
of
don't even
football
want
played.
games to be played.
Nope.
Stories are so good.
As
All
a-
of everybody.
Ryan always says about you love potential.
Oh,
And-
it is,
and-
and Hudson Card is so every story of
He's
him
so
out of
perfect
camp.
right now.
Oh, he's handsome. Oh, he's tall.
Laser rocket arm.
Just a square jaw. Look
I
at how
think-
symmetric his face is.
I think he's going to be really pretty
I think
good.
he's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah. Man, just protect that guy for a little while, and
That's
man, it could be
that's
so
the
fun.
troublesome part, right? I mean, the line
Well,
is
you
you're
knew the
not
line?
sure, but
Hey, you
again,
said football's all new. You said it's all different. This era
it's
of college
all
football.
different. You don't actually need people in front of the quarterback and running backs. If you got good running backs, you got good quarterbacks, you got a couple wide receiver targets. That's all you need.
That's all you need. It's like a video game. Exactly. Greg Momenis asks if we can still hate on Frosty this fall. Greg, you're in Nebraska, so you're probably more qualified than us to talk about whether that's still a thing. Because you brought up Nebraska. I will say my quick Nebraska comment, it's going to be much harder to dislike, I think, Matt Rule than Scott Frost. Because Matt Rule, he could certainly get there for me, but Frost just was a fraud from day one. He was
I
a fraud.
thought-
Rule's won games before.
Rule is a
Rule's
much
a legit
better
coach.
Rule is a much better coach. I have never been as wrong than I was about
You
Scott
thought Frost
Frost.
was gonna
I
be
thought
good?
he was going to be it. Turns out even Adrian Martinez leaving and going to
Everyone got better who left that program. Everyone got better than when they were under Scott Frost.
Tremendous.
He literally retarded their progress when he coached them.
It's just so good. I mean, it's incredible.
It's all so good. The fact that there were endless things written, not just about how he was going to be a good coach and a favorite son, but you probably remember this, right? Every article was the genius of Scott Frost. If you heard that guy talk, you knew he wasn't a genius. Like, let's stop throwing that term around. Like,
It 1 year, 1 good season.
Yeah, with
struck
someone
while the
else's
iron was
players.
hot,
With someone else's players.
And so
Yeah.
that, I mean, and
I'm still worked up.
I know exactly. And so, we'll get into expectations and the schedule and wins and losses
The
and all of
win-win
that
loss
next
game.
week. We'll do that next
Oh,
week.
we're gonna
We're
do that
predicting double digit. We're predicting double digit wins.
Yeah, they're all just wins. Just put them down.
We all know this. But what feels good is planning for my stupid fall schedule of just driving everywhere. Again, like what
Entirely
makes
my
me
fault,
excited,
I'm told.
I like you are in this way, you and I are different. You look forward to these falls because it is your favorite sport, it's your favorite time of the year, it's everything. For me it's basketball. For me, that's the season that I'm
You
waiting
enjoy
for.
college football
That I
a
do
lot.
it.
I think
What-
you enjoy the day and the weekend more than you
That's
enjoy
the thing. That's the thing. It's the excuse. It's the pageantry behind it. It's the insanity. I mean, it's nuts.
It's the Airbnbs being canceled at the last minute. It's all so fun.
It's absolutely insane. J Money and I might be going in on season tickets next year.
Well, haven't we kind of de
I know
facto
we
already
silently
done that? 'Cause
We've
I've
never
got-
actually discussed this out
Well,
loud, but
I have season tickets, and you are the one who usually uses the other ticket. So you kind of are already in on season tickets.
I know,
Kind of.
but now J Money Jr. is
He comes more often. and
he's cramping my style.
It's
here.
beginning to make more sense just to get more tickets.
It's
Eh,
cramping my
completely
style.
normal behavior.
Insane behavior. The uptick of insane behavior is it just peaks during fall, like for
Yep.
me, and that just thinking about my fall, thinking about potential trips. Let's just keep it vague. The road trips on the east that Purdue is going to. Thinking about the logistics of going to West Lafayette a couple times this fall. saying hi to all of you who are watching. All of
Suddenly
you
the
who are
energy's
reading.
there, though. Suddenly you're ready to go to AJ's.
I know exactly.
We were out there. We were out there Labor Day Thursday last year, walking through the streets on our way to AJ's and having a Bush Diesel, as I recall. It was like being back in
Big bush
college.
heavy. Big bush heavy. That's right. The last of which, in that case, I believe
Still in
I
my
only
fridge.
just recently
No.
drank.
That was a different case. That
Oh,
was
okay.
when.
Okay.
That was Nebraska. I bought some
Got
for
it.
that visit.
Got it.
But still a long time ago. Still in my refrigerator. Because who's going to drink that turpentine other than you?
Bush heavy, baby.
Oh man, so much has happened. So much has happened. College football. One of the things I put in my little notes, and yes, I actually put down little
Look
notes.
at you.
I didn't want to forget things that, but I've seen this written a couple places, so I'm not unique in saying this, but I think you'll agree. Everybody should really enjoy this season. Enjoy this college football season because it's changing so fast that it's hard to imagine college football being what it's been the last. What would you say? What's been? I wouldn't say it's been perfection the last 10 or years or whatever, but it's been pretty good. Like,
So even this era of, like, let's say 5 years has been kind of a transition era.
yes,
Right.
sure.
And you would say that the stability before that. So if this is 5 years, let's say like the late 2000s until, the late teens, right? That era of stability, BCS, put that aside, like put the playoff and stuff like that, whatever. That era, but so I'm of two minds of this. In my head, what I'm saying is that era, because it was stable and it was because it was when I started following college football, right? Like early 2000s. Like that to me is how it is, right? Like Rutgers and Maryland being in the Big Ten and Nebraska being in the Big Ten is still a little weird to me. For people that are in college or recently graduated, it's not. It's just normal. It's just what it is, right? And so I wonder
Still
how
weird
this
for me with Penn State.
I wonder how this next era is going to be, right? If it will cross the Rubicon into like
Absurdity.
it's just nuts. By the way, like I will never stop talking nonsense about the SEC. Never. You will never be able to make me.
However,
However, this is all the Big Ten's fault. This is absolutely all our fault.
and the only conference left that is still somewhat logical, which is crazy to say, is the SEC.
Yeah.
They're
This is-
still pretty much just the southeastern part of the country. I was thinking about this too. They're the only conference left, just about, whose name makes sense. Big Ten. Now, I was thinking about this. What were the solutions? Like when the Big Ten expanded, even to Penn State, remember? It was 11 teams in a 10 team in the Big Ten. And they put the 11 in the and everyone was like, that's pretty clever. That's fine. It's 11. We're not going to call them the Big 11, right? And then it was 12 for a while, right? And then there was my favorite point where the Big 10 had 12 teams and the Big 12 had 10 teams. That was my favorite, like 3 or 4 year stretch where I thought that was great. Just switch logos. Just change logos and problem solve. Now it's 14 and it's going to be 17? 18. No, it's 16.
Yeah,
18.
now.
Yes. Yeah, and they're all coming next year. One of the other, like the Pac-12 is no more. The Big 12 isn't 12, or is it again? Maybe it is again. I can't even keep track. But
No, Big 12 is 16 now. With
So the Big 12
it was
the
12.
Big 8.
It was
originally.
12, and now they're adding. I mean, again, not for next year, but after that, after all of this mess settles out in 24, allegedly, it's Arizona State, Colorado, Utah. That turns them into 16.
The only recent conference that changed their name to be accurate was the Pac-10, who went to the Pac-12, and now they're the Pac-4. So I think because they've done that, they should have to go back to the Pac-4.
I cannot tell you how hard I'm rooting for Oregon State to win the Pac whatever.
Oh, God,
I know.
yes.
I mean, USC, Oregon State's going to be good. They're going to be quite good.
Didn't they
USC
win like
should
8 or
run
9
away
games
with
last
it.
year?
Yeah,
They're pretty good.
They're really solid. USC is probably going to run away with it, but of all of this, just the perfect giant FU.
Someone made a great point, I think, on The Athletic about think about all those final times that all those schools are coming into like Oregon State. How pissy their fans are going to be. And
I mean,
how make it miserable for them all. Just please do that for just and Wazoo. Like
That-
just
You know, Cal and Stanford, nobody ever has to feel sorry for. Nobody ever. I have to. We can intercede here. I'm pretty sure there's enough happening at Cal and Stanford that nobody has to feel sorry for them about anything. Stanford puts out enough. Oh, I can't make war criminal jokes here. Never mind.
Whoops.
So yeah, I mean, 18 teams is nuts. All of this is insane. It's
I was
Big
going to do a
Ten's
quick
fault.
cast. I was going to do a quick cast in the middle of the summer because I was going to actually give the Big Ten credit. And I'll just tell you now what I was going to talk about because there were a couple things. But one was the way that they had figured out the plan for the schedule. When they talked about the divisions going away last year, when they talked about for the upcoming, we're going to get rid of divisions. I thought, how are you going to get rid of divisions with that many teams? It feels like it makes more sense to have divisions. And then they said, well, everyone's complained for years that it's unequal, right? Because the divisions are loaded on one side, not on the other. My answer to that has always been, well, things are cyclical and teams will get good on the other side. Maybe they wouldn't, but you can't be like, well, we have to break up this good division. That's a stupid way to think.
Nebraska, Northwestern will eventually win 10 wins randomly, which, hey, we have to talk about Northwestern. Put a little pin in that.
So, but what I thought was brilliant for a change for the Big Ten was they made up their plan where you'd have your protected rivalries and you'd play everybody else in the conference. Over a 2-year span, you'd play everybody. And over a 4-year span, and I love this because if you went to college for 4 years, which is the typical amount, you would play at every other stadium in those 4 years. Instead of like the recent Purdue-Michigan gap, which was like 7 or 8 years or something, right? Before they played in the Big Ten title game. So Purdue was in the Big Ten title game last year, and I don't know if you caught that.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah,
what a strange reality.
I just was reading, I was looking at that again, and I was like, Purdue won the West Division last year. I don't care that it wasn't a great, I don't care. We said it last year. I don't care.
Can't make me care. You
won
cannot.
Won the division. It was 14-13 against Michigan at halftime. I don't.
Just end it right
better
there.
than Ohio State did, didn't they?
Yeah.
They did.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I was like, man, that's really well done. You're going to play in every school in a 2-year span and every stadium in a 4-year span. That's really well done.
And they didn't force rivalries. They kept the ones that mattered.
And
Penn
they said
State
to schools,
didn't have
who do you
any.
want to? Who's important to you? And they were like, and Penn State was like, we don't care.
Yeah.
And I respect that too.
So
they were like, we'll just play whatever.
Yeah.
And Purdue was like, weirdly, I want IU, Illinois, and Northwestern because we want.
And they got them. Hey, they
got
them. That would have been good.
Yeah, but you're not going to really. But you're not going to really like look forward. No fan is like, can't wait to play Northwestern. Zero fans are like that, except from the perspective of maybe getting regular wins.
Yep, those are nice wins. Same thing, Illinois. It's a good competitive game, but that should be a win, right? Like for both teams.
I don't know
for
about
both teams. That's what I'm seeing. Like for both
that
teams,
one's fine to keep because it's fine. Who else are they gonna? Their only other rival is Northwestern. They think they're everyone's rival, but
and Indiana. I mean, honestly, like that. Those four are like kind of a good quad.
You mean the four that'll be cast off when the Big Ten decides to kick it?
Well, no, we'll get to that. We'll get to our predictions there.
I have thoughts on that as well.
Exactly. That was literally, there was like a 2-week span or 3-week span, maybe a little bit longer, but where that was like, hey, this is a good
play. There was somebody who was like, got that done.
It makes sense. And then boom, like
all
of this. Colorado bolts, and everybody uses that as that, which, by the way, again, I am all here to talk everything about Deion and Colorado. However, Colorado going to the Big 12, prompting all of this nonsense is so stupid. It's the stupidest.
They went home. They went back to their conference.
It makes sense.
That's where they were.
And all of these people said, well, they did it, so we're going to bolt too. Like, it doesn't make sense. The Arizona region's doing it. All of a sudden, that's spooky because of the TV deal numbers, the Apple TV streaming deal. That's spooked.
Well done by that Pac-12 commissioner.
I mean, it's just
a
back
streaming only deal. Well, now I guess I shouldn't come down too hard because when you think the future is streaming, but I don't think that's exactly what people meant. I think they meant
if it's going to be that deal, which actually it wasn't as bad as
exclusively streaming.
It wasn't as bad as it was made out to be. But if you're going to do that deal, you had to announce it a year ago. You can't announce it when everything is insane, right? You can't announce it when everything is teetering, when it really is a do or die kind of moment. And they chose to die. So, I mean, the biggest thing here is, and so that scared Washington or Oregon to go to the Big Ten. The Big Ten hemmed and hawed but they were going to take him. They were always going to take him. It was never going to be just USC and UCLA. You can never convince me that they were ever really planning on doing that. They were going to add Oregon and Washington at some point. And this is just so stupid. It's just
so
all so
dumb.
stupid.
It's so dumb, and it's now we can. I want to head off anyone saying, "But you said this was dumb." Yes, we're going to use this as a reason to go to Los Angeles when the weather's bad. I just want to be clear.
What am I going to do? Not go see the historic John Wooden rivalry of Purdue versus UCLA? What?
Or go up to Oregon?
You want me to ignore history all of a sudden?
Yeah, I mean that would be rude, but it's so dumb. What's funny is the more these teams, and then there was the chance that Cal and Stanford were going to go to the ACC, and the ACC was like, no.
Cal, can you? Okay. I've been talking about the Big Ten. It just so stupid. All of this is their fault. If Cal and Stanford joined the ACC, that would have outstupided everything that has been done in college football. That would have been the dumbest move in the history of college football realignment. It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
The more stupid things like that get tossed around. I don't know if this happens to you, but the more you think of for me, the more I think about, I can't help my brain from going, wouldn't it make sense just to have all the schools in a region play each other? Oh wait,
yeah.
that's the way it used to be.
What if we just?
But you can't help it. Your brain is like, this doesn't make sense. Why don't these schools all just join each other?
It's
you could
do brands and capitalism. Brands and capitalism.
Have done this. Couldn't you just have a literal Southeastern Conference and then do a Northeastern Conference and a Northwestern and a Southwestern, and then you could just, there you go. There's your power. There's your the whole thing that people have talked about, and I love how we've got all these conference commissioners who don't know how to figure things out. It's like, well, I don't know. Travel's gonna be bad for the non-revenue sports. Yeah, no kidding. You're crippling.
You're almost there.
Well,
you almost solved it, right?
Right.
You're so close.
And
I promise.
So then what? Well, but the thing I was thinking about is if these football schools or football programs, if that's why they're making these moves and that's what's important to them, why, since nothing matters and the points are all made up, why can't you have the Big Ten football conference?
It's going to happen. So this is Boiler Dowd's point. I'm sure that Boiler Dowd is screaming this from his window and hoping that it just picks up on one of our mics several hundred miles away. But yeah, it's going to happen, right? Football is going to break off. Happen? Football, well, that's the first step, right?
Football breaking off. I know we've all said that's probably what's going to happen, but I think it's always been talked about in the context of super conferences, super leagues, whatever, where it's not really anything related to Big Ten or what you used to. I'm saying, is there an intermediate step where you say, okay, the Big Ten with these 4 new teams next year that's the Big Ten for now. Okay, but for volleyball and everything else, the Big Ten is still and switch it up however you want. Does it matter if Penn State volleyball is part of it? I don't think so. Just have the ones in the middle of the country. Yeah. Why would that be so hard?
No, to me, breaking it off and kind of going back to regional conference, regional for non-football, makes sense. I have no idea what they're going to do for basketball. With that, for them, it doesn't really matter. None of this matters. But for football, enjoy this next 6 years, right? Enjoy
6 years?
7 years, 2030, I suppose. So for that season, that's when the cable deals end. That's when the kind of the next time things are going to.
You think
really
so?
shuffle.
I don't think it's going to take long.
I think 2030 is when we see Super League. I think that's the
fair.
critical mass for when. The big dogs of the SEC and the Big Ten can take Clemson, can take who else is left? I was looking at this. Would OK State make it? Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, OK State.
Well, but what do you mean OK State? Big 12 is now gotten some strength back.
Just pluck from the top and then take the top from the Big Ten and SEC, and now all of a sudden you've got something like 14, 16. How many ever teams you want, that's your Super League, right? That becomes what that becomes the marquee, matchup, and travel schedules don't matter because they're going to make a buttload of money. They can fly private everywhere. They're going to be flying on their private jets everywhere. It's going to be absurd. The TV contracts for, to see a series again between Florida and Florida State, like all of these things come back on the map. Like all of these things are back on the, on the table for that new Super League. It's going to be absurdly wealthy. They can cut the chaffs. They can cut the Big Ten. They can pull away from the idea that the Big Ten is ever going to cut charter members, right? Or the SEC is ever going to cut teams.
Well, that was Dylan, our friend Dylan says the Big Ten Mega Conference brought to you by MetroNet. Very, very good. I was going to bring that up too, because you see people, or you hear, not that you and I ever listen to other college podcasts, but there are sometimes people talk about in articles or about the future, and they just shoot in the dark. We talk about this all the time, just like with coaching searches, where people just make things up. They don't have any. And I've heard people
all Northwestern lists that came out immediately after Pat Fitzgerald.
And I've seen
it's like,
things
you don't know. Shut up.
And I've seen things written or talked about like conferences booting teams. And I think people fail to understand how virtually impossible that would be. You can't say to IU, for example, and I'm just pulling that. I mean, they may not.
Just a random Big Ten.
I mean, they're not even a good example. Northwestern, whatever. You can't say, "Oh, well, we'll just kick them out," because they're part of the conference. You would be sued forever. The conference, they would, because you're not just saying, "Oh, you got to go make another schedule with another conference." You're saying, "There goes your what's the revenue?"
You're violating terms of the contract, right?
But what's the revenue even this year? I'm not even talking about that. Like, what's the revenue from the Big Ten Network this year? 100 something each, right?
No, not quite, but it's going to build up.
Okay,
it's going to be something.
So even if you said, "Here's an exit fee of $500 million," you'd still say no, because you'd be like, "That's only so many years worth of revenue. I'm not giving that up." The only way that you can shed the IUs and Purdue's and whomever else is by going and leaving yourself, right?
So Purdue, what Purdue fans should take solace in is that Purdue will always be holding down the fort for the Big Ten. Purdue will be here
when it's back to 10 teams.
And they'll be back when it's back to 10 teams, and Michigan and Ohio State and all of these teams, USC, strangely, have all left Penn State have all left the Big Ten. Purdue will still be here holding down the fort, playing IU, Nebraska, who knows what Nebraska is doing, playing IU, Illinois, and Northwestern.
Husker fans of all fan bases. Of all fan bases, I get it now. Advocating to kick out IU, Illinois, and Purdue is bonkers. Yeah, that's because they're dumb, Greg, and I know you know that. But you can't kick out. And isn't that Rich one of the schools that's been in the conference the least amount of time?
I mean, USC fans are starting to do this right now, and it's like, this is how you know that Super League is coming. So here's Andel Jones' quick point here: the Premier League of college football. In fact, that's not quite right. The Premier League was just another level onto a relegation and promotion system. They just added a new rung,
Premier League,
right? What European soccer tried to do was the Super League thing, which is where it's a beautiful cup. I was going to comment on it. They were going to take all of Europe's kind of most famous teams, biggest brands, and they were going to broadcast them internationally because the local markets don't matter anymore. And broadcasting Manchester United versus whatever is way more important. This is a mystery right there. Boiler Dad trying so hard. But you know what happened? You know why that didn't happen? Is because local fans threw an absolute fit, literally marched, so that didn't happen. And it wasn't the local fans of the small teams. It was like Manchester United fans marched and said, we can't leave this rivalry that was down the street. You can't prioritize, somewhat half a world away over what made this special, over the people that made this special, right? Could you ever see an Ohio State fan
we can't lose Purdue
protesting about not playing Purdue anymore? Exactly. Could you ever see Michigan, even if let's say Michigan had to leave Michigan State. Michigan State was on the wrong side of the cut line for Super League. Probably. I mean, this is real life. Mm-hmm. And Michigan would be on the right side, obviously. Could you imagine Michigan fans protesting, saying we need to keep our historic rivalry with Michigan State? I mean, Bedlam is ending, right? Like the Red River has already gone, right? Like none of this
No,
makes
they're both
sense.
going.
Yeah.
Texas and Oklahoma are both going.
It just none
They'll
of
keep
this.
that going.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
That'll
right.
still be a thing.
But
No,
Bedlam is gone. Washington is
Apple
going to
Cup.
play Purdue instead of Washington State.
Oregon State.
None
And
of
this
it makes
started a long time ago, though, and Boiler Dad made a comment in our chat. He's apparently able to hear us, but not talk to us, which is kind of, that's kind of the ideal state. Let's be honest. But he made a comment that conference defections and realignment is an old story, and it is.
absolutely.
It is. It's gone on for a long time. It's just a little more. You'd have one or two go right, and then it'd be 20 years, and then someone else would move. Right now, it's just like every 3
To
weeks.
his point, the last death of a conference that was on par with
SWAC, wasn't it?
the Southern, just the Southern Conference.
Southern.
But that's on par with the history of the Pac, right? I mean, is the Southern Conference being eaten up by?
That was a big deal.
So what happened was they were a core group, then they got way too big, and then the good teams bolted and made the SEC, right?
No parallels
Doesn't that sound
there.
familiar? Yeah, exactly. Doesn't that sound familiar?
To your point, though, your question earlier about can you imagine like Michigan fans saying, no, we can't go without Michigan State or Purdue. The funny part about that is all these fans thinking their team is so good and needs to be part of a super league. Like you've got the evidence right in front of you of how much you benefit from the current setup, right? You're playing a 12-game season, and how many, like, look at Michigan's schedule this year, and like you want to have none of those anymore and be playing Alabama and Georgia every season.
I mean,
Okay.
Listen,
Somebody has to be bad in every conference. So guess what happens when you have a super league?
entirely honestly,
Not all gonna go 12-2.
adding USC, UCLA. Hey, look at this! Look at this guy. He's here. He's just gonna shake his head because we're not sure.
Now, a
if the
special guest.
We're not sure if the
Wonderful
audio
Sports
is
Handsome
working.
Hour, representing Home Field Apparel.
Nope.
I'm pissed off.
I'm shocked. This has never happened before.
Well, this is
Oh,
At least you've got
incredible.
your hand. At least you've got
that's
your
at
hand.
least three.
Cheers.
That's a three.
Cheers, buddy.
That's at least 3 glasses.
Cheers.
How many? Yeah. How many since you first got on with the
no.
Metro?
I don't do
Metro?
that. I don't do that. I try to never even drink unless I'm in a really good mood, and I'm not in a good mood right now, so I'm breaking my own rule. Because I poured that to jump
'Cause
on.
you were in a good
I was watching a movie with my wife, and I get on, and internet goes away.
Were you
By the way,
streaming?
MetroNet has 3.1 million users in 10 states. Dylan, okay. All right, Dylan.
Why are we going after Dylan? What
Because
did
he's
he
been making fun of MetroNet, and he's making fun of me.
I made fun of MetroNet because don't
I'll
you
make fun
read
of
the
all
name?
you. If you want me to come and join this, I can get in this. I can catch up.
Don't
Even
you
with
mean?
my 1 nickel internet.
Don't you? Oh, okay. So you're. I don't even know what side of this argument you're on.
He's on every side of it. He's just angry, man.
I'm
He's
just
just
pissed.
angry.
He's like, I hate MetroNet for what they did, and I hate you all for making fun of MetroNet because if you make fun of them, they're not going to get better.
Well, there's no other option. It's either that or get in bed with Xfinity around here, and that's fun because they'll turn off the internet whenever the hell they feel like.
It's like
Right?
Black
They'll just
so
be
good.
like, "Oh,
This is so
sorry,
good.
sorry. There's no internet."
This is
right
like
now."
T-ball.
and that's kind of tough because I work at home, and so I have to
Remember-
send files and receive files, and usually it works. Tonight, 0.6 megabits per second.
Remember when you two nozzles used to make fun of my internet?
Hey,
Remember
Dolan.
every show.
Dolan Net's improved, man.
It's
Dolan
gotten
Net, James Dolan built that big creepy eye in Vegas, and all of a sudden things have been looking up.
That thing is ridiculous.
So
Wasn't it
insane.
like $400 million or something
Yeah,
absolutely out of this world?
It
No,
looks fake
no,
every time I see a
no,
picture,
no,
it
no, no,
looks-
no.
Right, it
my
looks like
friend.
someone photoshopped it, and
Yeah,
they're playing a
it's so
trick on you.
clear.
and you're like,
I'm
"That's
not even
actually
look.
there."
I'm not even looking it up. I'm almost positive it was like
$1 billion.
I think.
I'm sure it's $1 billion.
I
I'm
think
sure
it
it's
may
well
have
over $1
been
billion.
two.
Yeah. I think it's like $1.7 billion.
Let's see. How much did
He
Vegas
could have bought-
Eye
He
cost?
could have bought an
2
NFL team.
2.3
or built that.
$2.3 billion.
$2.3 billion. Steve Ballmer bought the Clippers for less.
Goodness
I don't know what a
gracious.
better investment is. So since you weren't on, we've sorted out realignment.
Did you know that USC, UCLA, Oregon, and and Washington were joining the Big Ten?
Or
Yeah.
did
no, I haven't
was your
heard that.
internet down?
It was new.
Was
I
your
haven't heard
internet
that.
down?
Yeah, I haven't had internet, so I don't know what's going on.
Ever. I've never had it.
I've never heard anything. No, it's a real great situation that college football's in. Everything's good, and there's nothing
Well, you heard
negative
me.
happening.
You may have
There's
heard me at the
nothing
beginning of this.
questionable.
I said enjoy this season because have some fun.
Yeah, Anish says wait until 2030. Everything's gonna be good for that. No way, dude.
That's when cables. That's when all of these. That's when all of these things break. And
You
until
think these guys are going to wait?
well,
I
so
don't think
here's
so.
here's the only. Way
I think the ACC is gonna crumble under its own weight in the next 720 days.
The only way that honestly that I could see it happening like that is if like Saudi money comes in and pays all of these
Sure,
buyouts and then
sure.
now owns the
not?
Super League. I absolutely do think.
Why
that
would
it's
we talk
possible.
about that as being far fetched?
I absolutely think that's. I mean, I said
Probably
immediately
likely.
after they basically bought golf. I said, "Hey,
But
what's
that's
another?
cured now, guys. Tiger Woods fixed it.
We're all
What's
He's
another?
like Henry Kissinger of golf. Everything's fine, guys. The thing I wonder about that live tour, okay? All those guys got promised
golf on the Handsome
ridiculous amount of money, right? And so then they get folded into the PGA next
and
year.
it's like nothing ever happened.
Nothing happened,
But
and they all.
what about that money? Those were contracts. Do they still get the money?
I don't know, but if you talk too
They
loud
have
of it,
to,
you
right?
are absolutely
think
going to get chopped into a billion pieces and put into a suitcase. So let's just say we very much enjoy our neighbors in the Middle East.
I think a lot of them got a shit ton of their money up front, actually. I think part of the reason a lot of them went was because they got a lot of money right away.
That's
It
the whole
wasn't
the funny thing about a lot of money, and some of us on this show know about this, some don't. I'm not gonna say who does and who
You don't know
doesn't
which.
know about
Yeah.
having a lot of money. But if you oil money and generational money is a weird thing, right? You can just dole out hundreds of millions.
I'm just
of
thinking
dollars.
about Henry Kissinger of golf. And
I know that's so good. That's so good.
Yeah.
All right, go on.
Very stately, but money is weird. I mean, that's
The
numbers-
thing
numbers
after
don't
they
make
bought
sense.
golf, I was like, what other unscrupulous, completely unregulated,
no-
made
right. With no
ju-
governing body to speak of, what's out there
what
that
else
makes
could
a
they
lot
buy?
of money too? And everyone,
I wonder.
What
What is prime for it? So
If there's
Super League-
money to be made, guys, there's gonna be people doing stupid things, right? I mean, let's just be real honest. It's just this is a man problem. This isn't a football problem. This isn't a Fox Sports problem. This isn't an ESPN problem. This isn't a Saudi Arabia problem. This is a problem of man. This is. I could go deeper into this and my personal philosophy
like
on
a
It's
sermon
why
going
this
on
all
here.
exists.
It's capitalism. It's
No, it's not capitalism. It's much deeper. It's much older than capitalism. This is a bigger problem, and this problem is not ever going to go away. It's just going to remorph and reconstitutionalize. It's going to change, and then you'll see everything's fine, and then some dumbass is going to ruin it. It doesn't matter what it is. Some dumbass will
we always
ruin it.
ruin everything.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
And so I mean, to me, I wouldn't worry about Purdue ever leaving the Big Ten because we're going to be left here. We're going to be left holding the bag, and we're going to be left.
So Handel has texted me many times his worry about what's going to happen with the Big Ten and Purdue specifically, and I mean I think your theory right there is what you're saying. Oh yeah, Purdue will still be part of the Big Ten, but no one will be in the Big Ten. Ohio State, Michigan.
There'll be 10 teams. It'll be Purdue,
It'll be 10 teams.
Indiana.
Akron will be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Penn State.
Think about this. Think about this.
UIC.
This is ancient history. Go way back to 2020 when
UIC. I just got that. That's so
That's
stupid.
awesome. Yeah. But if you go back to 2020, let's not forget Ohio State was ready to bail on the Big Ten right then because of just not having that season of football. They're like, we want to play for the national title right now. Ohio State fans and their machine was so worried about not having another team like that. I don't know if you remember reading Ohio State fans say, everything's great this year. We've got the personnel. We're playing for the national title. I'm like, you're effing Ohio State. It happens every 25 minutes for you guys.
Right.
This isn't Purdue having Drew Brees on the roster. It's Ohio State. Everything's going to be fine next season.
Or Dayton having a Final Four
I
caliber
was
team
literally about to say
and not-
Dayton.
like that's not what this was.
That is something to panic about.
That's
like,
someone
okay,
who has a gripe.
Toppin's not coming back. This is
Right.
it. This is our shot, right?
Right.
But instead, you had Ohio State angry, Nebraska, like you guys said earlier, they were trying to They were trying to throw Purdue and IU under the bus, which is great. Remember, Nebraska was ready to bail during 2020 as well, right? I mean,
Yeah, but
What a pity. Yeah, but nobody was.
what a
Oh
pity.
no! Please wait.
Please don't go, please.
one of my favorite
You'd have to take
tweets-
Scott Frost with you.
One of my
because
favorite
he
tweets
was in
during
his
that
height
was-
there. By the way, let's also look at this. And Greg appreciates
Oh,
this.
he's
Greg
on fire
McManus
now.
appreciates this more than
He's on
anybody.
fire
Oh yeah.
now.
In 2020, Scott Frost was still kind of a favorite son, correct? This is 3 years ago. If you listen to the tweets and the things that Nebraska fans say now, they're like,
Just hold
you
that
know
in your
what?
ear.
You know what?
Listen
He
to-
had problems with young women. He was always drunk. He was half-assing, and we all knew it. We just didn't talk about it.
That's my
Bullshit,
favorite.
you all knew
That's
it
my
because
favorite.
you didn't say a thing about it, you
That's
punks.
my favorite.
But it's the same.
Shut up.
I've made that point about every IU coach who gets fired.
It's the
All of a
same.
sudden,
It's the same mentality.
It's called
Same
retconning
mentality.
when they like change the storyline in the background. Oh,
Yep.
we always knew that Archie was a terrible hire. Everybody knew it. We
Right.
never connected. What?
Right.
What? Like, what are you talking about? Oh man. Yeah. Well, so enjoy this season, I think is what we were saying.
It's the last of this chapter. I mean,
and
like
then-
really, it's a strange chapter of stability within college football, and kind of this
Right before the legs get kicked out.
and this era of this little transition
So
era.
wait, when's
It's
this
the last one.
stability start? When did the stability start? I want to know what.
Well,
your
this
definition
I think
is.
it's
I mean,
this last
honestly-
season isn't
Yeah.
before everybody. The Pac-12 still exists, for example. Like you've got a year now
Okay.
to enjoy this. Where
Got a
right,
year to
Pac-12
enjoy
After
that.
Dark is a thing. It's like
Right.
it's literally going to be like, you know how like when a show has its final season and everybody's like, oh, there's only 8
Yeah,
episodes
every
left.
episode, right?
Every
In the
week
third or
you're gonna be
fourth
like,
quarter,
I'm gonna stay
people
up and
are
watch
gonna be
some Pac-12.
lamenting Pac-12 is about to be done.
I'm going to stay up and watch this game because
Right? Because this is it.
this is all there is.
Yeah. So
never
my
knew I'd
son
miss
is a
it.
senior in high school, and I just got this thing that said, "Don't buy into this is the last chance to go out to breakfast. This is the last chance to have your little boy or girl have a meal with their team. Don't buy into it, right? Because there's always more coming in life. And I would say for our friends that are being left, those 4 that are playing the role of what future Purdue is going to play, right? They're holding the Pac-10 bag, right? The Pac-12, the music is going to stop. But what's going to happen is the Pac-12 is going to miraculously rise from the ashes, right?
You think
With wonderful programs like Colorado State and Nevada.
Well,
And
I
they're
think
going to
it's
say, still the oldest conference and blah, blah, blah. The Conference of Champions.
Conference of Champions. Yeah,
But Bill Walton will be nowhere to talk about it.
he'll be in the
Because
Big Ten. He'll be
He's
in
the
Mackey
Big Ten,
talking
and
about.
now he's talking the Big Ten as the Conference of Champions because UCLA brought that moniker with them.
We're definitely getting Bill Walton in Mackey
Oh,
talking about
no.
calling
Oh, no, yes,
the
we
wooden
are,
game.
Jay.
We're absolutely getting that.
So
But
how
the good
long-
is he's like wine. He gets better with age.
Oh.
He doesn't. No, he
yeah,
doesn't.
and the older I get, the more I appreciate people like him. Everyone.
He's- Not everything's connecting there, and I'm not sure why those. Anish, what's the part of the brain that
Synapses?
connects
The wires.
the wires? Thank you for the technical terminology. That's what I was looking for. But those wires in Bill Walton's brain have been severed by something, maybe a substance, maybe a procedure,
Maybe
but
a substance.
something is broken in there.
He's going to be at Mackey. That's what matters.
He'll be yelling. He'll be getting in an argument with whoever's doing the play-by-play.
That's
Purdue's
it.
gonna
my
Purdue's gonna
gosh.
finally make a Final Four, but it's gonna be in Qatar or something.
Exactly.
Arabia.
Purdue and
Whoever
hey,
bought the
somebody-
Final Four.
Somebody brought this up earlier about 2030 Purdue 2030 Big Ten champions. That's when we have to. That's when we set our sights
Hey
on.
man, Purdue was
We'll
the Big
take
Ten
it.
runner-up last year. You
Exactly.
can make all the jokes you want. Purdue
true.
was 1/2 away from being the Big Ten champs.
We're a giant killer. That's right.
Well, hey man, 8-9
Listen.
wins. That's not nothing.
Nobody
comes
comes
into
into Ross-Ade at night.
Nobody
Nobody
comes
does
into
come
Ross-Ade.
into Ross-Ade during the day.
Nobody's going to stand on Ross-Ade's
Big-
field.
big
Wait, hold on.
shouts
Am I allowed to
to-
say that out loud?
No,
Okay,
but
sorry.
that was incredible. We are always impressed by Purdue's turf people. That's the technical term. I think you major in turf people.
Turf management. Turf management.
Turf,
Are they like crab people? They
We're crab people now.
like sewer people. But the field looks amazing.
Oh,
It
okay.
looked Like there was no way. It looked like they'd be playing on dirt just a few weeks ago.
Oh my, well, hey, Jay,
I
but
thought that was
Color me
Photoshop.
nervous. Color me a little bit
no,
nervous.
no.
About the roof.
And I'm
You
telling
don't
you why you
understand
shouldn't
anything
be
about turf
nervous,
management.
Anish. Those guys and girls, I've been watching them saying
I hope so.
everything is good, and they are not bullshitting. They are being straight
Purdue's
with you.
field is
You have
never,
people that are like shoe designers and guys that work for investment companies in Midtown Manhattan, and guys that create artificial heart valves, talking about, I don't know if that grass is going to grow, baby. I don't know about that grass.
I don't
You got
know.
the structure done, but ain't going to be that grass. Ain't going to be done.
3 weeks
That's
ago,
our
there was
voice, by
no
the way.
grass.
That's the three of us. That's our accent.
That's
what
a
we
good
sound
accent.
Yeah, it's really
I
good.
like
Sounds
that.
just like us.
I don't know. It has
gonna
me
be-
nervous, but the
gonna be
south
awesome.
end zone, okay,
Great success.
south end zone
looks good. Tiller
looks
Tunnel
good.
looks good.
South. Okay,
It looks
can
so
I be?
much better than I thought it was going to look.
Can I?
Which is
can
how
I?
often do you get to say that about
Oh,
something? Imagine
so
if
good.
Morgan Burke was in charge of this.
They
He
they had
was.
somebody.
He
They had somebody.
was.
No, he was not.
Before he was.
He started. I think he
Morgantown.
started it.
Yeah, it was Morgantown.
Exactly. He was. We saw what happened.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm
where
saying-
Purdue cut the corner this time, and I talked about this in a quick cast, was they had a bunch of little kids with is it Google SketchUp do the 3D 3D models.
rendering.
Here
Low-
it is.
Low expectations.
They did it. I mean, that's right. Under promise, over deliver. They got me on that because I was like,
Tent
"This
City.
looks like garbage."
Good. That place. I mean, I don't know. It could not have seemed more small time. Anish and I ambled over there last year.
Oh my gosh! It was so
You couldn't
much
see the
worse
game.
from there. It was so much worse.
It was
from
so much
there.
worse from there. You couldn't see the scoreboard or the game, which is neat. You can't see either.
Somebody was watching Law and Order.
Stadium.
Someone
But you
was
can
watching
hear it.
Law and Order.
That's
You can
just
hear
like
it,
you can
sort
hear
of.
it.
Yeah, and it was tense. And the only way to get there was to
It was
bother-
intense. It was intense. is
was
what
to
you mean.
walk in front of people in the last section there, mostly fans of the opposing team. Then walk down steps, walk across the little like ambulance entrance,
Walkway.
then back up the stairs. Like it's like a high school. Seriously.
It really was. It was so bad. And
Hey, can
now
you put up Greg's message real quick?
this last one, Burke one.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. If Burke was still here, we'd be Vandy Stadium right now. So Greg has something against Vanderbilt's big plan. I don't know if you've seen his feed.
No, I haven't. What's going on? with
Greg
this?
keeps putting these photographs of Vanderbilt's football stadium right now
In shambles.
in shambles. Maybe it looks like I don't know, a demolished building, and they're going to play football in 3 weeks there. It's ridiculous what they're doing at Vanderbilt. It is crazy.
But good thing they
just
copied.
got finished with
They copied
demolition.
Purdue's. They copied Purdue's stripe though, the Tiller stripe. They copied that onto their
They
new
did.
their new
Oh.
helmets, which is fun.
We need to talk about that, by the way, and I don't want to forget, so I'm just going to completely veer into this subject.
Go on.
But
Let's go.
is the uniform? Are they wearing those? Is that this season's uniform?
No, not the whole season.
Just a retro start.
This
to
is
season.
this is and there is one person who used to be a Boiled Sports contributor who knows because
Oh, Teddy, yes.
Teddy says they reach out. He's like, I've been so good, I haven't been telling anyone. Here's the thing, though. There are some tea leaves that have been out there. Number one, they've been showing a little bit right in practice. They're not taking the helmets off. Obviously, we had the hand was tipped. We saw the white stripe. We saw the white outline, but we also see a black helmet with a white stripe. We've seen. I mean, I don't think they're going to wear a black helmet, white stripe with the throwback uniform. I might be wrong, but I don't think.
Gold. We saw
What?
the gold domes with the in one of them. We saw kind of a sneak peek of gold, like gold helmets.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
nice kind
They're-
of rust.
They're going to wear the throwback is definitely
This
the
color.
first game is going to be awesome. Before they started announcing all that, you could see that's what they're going to do. They're going to pay homage to Tiller and company. It's going to be great, all that. But there's another. The funny thing is the other helmet we've seen a preview of is black with a white stripe, which is what Purdue beat Illinois in last year. And Walters had really good seats for that uniform. So I guess he's fond of that. So that's. I don't know. Am I fighting myself right now? I kind of am, aren't I? It's okay.
That's your new coach, man.
He's ours now.
So the thing I don't know is if there's it feels like there might be a new uniform altogether, but I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
anything.
We'll see. We will see in a few short weeks.
I did a little.
And it's so
Google.
stupid, right? Jay talked about this about 7 or 10 years ago.
What's that?
How dumb this uniform thing has become. Like you talked about, it jumped the shark when IU got 7 uniforms or whatever, and was putting the candy stripe helmets.
In somebody saying that IU may get a blackout uniform, and it's like there are things that you do, like Purdue doesn't get a red out.
Purdue's not going to have a red out. Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Why not? That'd be great.
Just the bucket game, they're in reverse uniforms.
But think about IU's wanted to be Purdue for a couple of years, right? We saw that when Miller was there. They were doing black and gold.
Oh my God, that was the best. No, the best player at practice got a gold jersey.
It was amazing. It's amazing.
You guys don't see. You don't see. You make the jokes too easy.
Right. Well, they make jokes easy. They made us an easy joke this last weekend again. If all of you who are listening don't know, they recreated a shot that occurred in December. In December.
And Watford can barely move. He looks like you moving.
Literally hundreds of murmuring fans. I don't know what.
Did you see they actually had the clock counting down?
They counted down, I believe. I believe the crowd was doing it as the clock was counting down. It was very momentous.
Hey, they want to be just like Purdue, winning, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December championship.
So in 10 years, do you think Purdue will have some sort of recreation of beating Gonzaga's ass in Portland? Do you think that'll happen?
It's so good.
They're going to recreate
somebody in practice will play,
this November.
What's his name?
Yeah,
Anish,
right.
the guy with the mustache with the.
He's
already gone.
Timmy?
Oh man,
Timmy.
True Timmy.
Yeah.
Well, they're playing them again in the remnants of Hawaii. Although I heard that
won't be there.
That's
that
not
won't be
gonna
there.
happen.
That looks bad.
Yeah, it does look.
They'll
Really
probably
bad.
do
Sad.
it as like a fundraiser now, which is good. But
that's
what I heard. Yeah,
but not there, right?
I hope they don't move to Vegas, but they probably will.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
absolutely.
remember during.
It used to be LA. Now everything is going to be Vegas. Yep.
Neither of you guys went too deep into the research phase of going to Maui, right? I know you guys both tipped your toe in the water. I did as well, but I backed out.
I looked at it.
I don't have any monies.
No,
It turns out you need money to go to Hawaii.
You do need money to go.
It was the airfare alone was debilitating, and
the trip would have cost me and my family like $13,000 just to start.
just to go.
Yeah, just to go, like without anything else.
But I've heard the stories, and I think maybe it was from you. Isn't it virtually impossible to get tickets to?
Yes.
Because it's such a small. Is it the one at Chaminade?
Yeah.
It's such a small venue.
And so that's the next phase is you pay $13,000 to get there. Maybe you have tickets. Hopefully you have tickets. I'm not that high in Purdue to automatically get them. So I guess I would go there and then I would pay another $5,000-$6,000 for one session.
Leg outside.
Oh my gosh, man. That's tough medicine. And nobody leaves. If you lose, you're probably a pretty big basketball fan. You just come back, watch some more basketball, or I don't know.
There's nothing else to do there. I don't know what you would do.
Right. There's nothing else to do. No.
You may recall, I went to the Bahamas to follow Purdue.
Yeah.
And I kept going after they lost because they kept playing.
Remember, you got to be Nogel's mom. I remember that.
I did.
That was the first of 2 times.
That's right.
Well, we didn't so much meet her, although she was looking at us.
We shared a trauma together.
She's like, "Who's this tall Indian man screaming about my son?" And then he looked at her and he said, "I love your son."
I know, man. It was good times. Good times.
That was
before the
Nogel's
bad
last time at
times.
Purdue, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so.
Was it? Yeah.
I think that was it.
That was before his career at Michigan began.
Until Men of Mackey, which is strange. You're right.
Before he found his right hand 3-point shot.
You're right. The Men of Mackey thing is strange, and I'm glad. Yeah, like on the quick cast that you mentioned, but it is strange.
It bothers you.
I don't know what to do with it anymore because there's guys there. Obviously, we all love them, but I don't know what to do with it anymore. It was really a special novelty, and then it was like, okay, we're getting more and more frayed. It feels like.
Yeah, now it's anybody who drove past Purdue.
Exactly. Have you ever heard of Purdue? You ever seen the colors black and gold together? Sure, you're in.
By the way, you're wearing a lovely shirt tonight.
You guys are too. What do you know? What a coincidence. We're all wearing lovely shirts.
We're all wearing shirts that are products of homefieldapparel.com. Homefield Apparel.
Enter boiled 23 at checkout
23.
for 15.
Keeping you guessing.
You have to.
That's right. Pew, 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 pew. What's the code going to be this year? By the way, that was not my doing.
Do you spell out? Is it the numbers 2-3 or do you spell out TWENTY
TOO and then 3?
Okay, got it.
That's right.
2, 3.
Yeah. No, that was I don't. Yeah, that's. They did that just to keep me on my toes. So
listen, but we are appreciative of being a part of the finally being a part of the home field extended universe.
By the way,
great.
Extended universe. Did you see the comment? First of all, we have someone commenting who is evidently anonymous.
I would be anonymous too.
Anonymous, yes.
They have no name. They said they went to both games of Metamaki and had
I
a
see
great
that.
time. So
Well,
I
I
congratulations.
read
What if
that
that's Dick
as
Stillwagon?
I
I'm going to assume that's Dick Stillwagon.
I want us to make a sticker, and by us I mean you, that says Dick Stillwater, but I want it on like a 10-gallon hat.
It's
Or a wagon.
It's just a wagon.
Wait, no, it's still wagon, not
Still
Stillwater.
wagon.
Dick
It's
Still
still
wagon.
wagon.
Like, is
Dick
it
Still
still
wagon.
WAGGIN apostrophe?
It's nope.
or is
It's
it-
like
like
what
a
you
wagon.
took out. To
It's
the West
still
Coast when you
wagon.
went last time. Yeah, exactly. It's the noodle. who's
It's the
anonymous.
noodle. You're
Why
showing
the
up
heck is it
anonymously.
anonymous? Well, he's kind of defeating. That's like joining the because everybody does this. You join the what is it when you get a secret house and a new name? Jay, you've been through
Witness
this.
protection.
Witness
There you go.
protection.
What's
It was
that?
a hard concept, and that's what the noodle's done, and he doesn't understand the whole point.
He doesn't know how to work.
He doesn't know how this works. That's right. Hello, my name is Jay Money. No, you're not Jay Money anymore. That's not your name anymore. Ever since you turned state's evidence, nope, you have a new name. I'm Jay Money. Nope, you don't. You're not Jay Money. You're not. You got to stop going on your big yacht because.
So I have a
that
couple
gives
questions
you
for you
away.
guys. Who wins?
We've
more
hit the hour mark. It's questions time.
Who
Yeah.
wins more postseason games this coming season? Purdue football or men's basketball?
Too
Ah!
soon. Too soon. Too soon.
Sad. A lot
Too
of
soon.
hurt there. A lot of
That
hurt.
hurts. This is just here.
Who will make a Final Four next? Football or men's basketball?
I'm sorry. Final Four. Big
Is there
Ten
a
Final
C?
Four.
Is there a D? A choice D?
Volleyball.
Yes.
I was playing this game with
Very
my
good
son,
program.
and I said,
Love Shondell.
I'm trying to remember what I said. Over under Purdue football postseason wins 0.5, and basketball over under postseason wins 1.5. And I said, which are you taking the over on? And he said football.
Do I have to take one?
I know.
Sorry.
It's tough. It's tough.
You can take both unders. That's fine.
Yeah.
You do a little parlay.
I thought you
bet
meant
both.
like I had to take one over and one under.
Oh,
I don't know how Vegas works. You guys may not know that.
You give them your money. That's how big.
You
it
give
is.
your money and then you get.
It's
and
a
then you're-
donation.
You're
It's a-
stressed out
Oh,
before they
It's a
tell you you don't
charitable
have any
donation.
momentum.
Yes.
I have a question that we said we would get to, Anish, and I'm going to ask you both this to lead us into it. Does Pat Fitzgerald get another job in college football?
Oh, how cynical do you want me to be? How
No,
cynical
so
do you want me to be?
When you say another job, I mean he'll be
Sorry,
a
head
consultant
job.
for Alabama.
Head coaching job.
Okay.
So first of all, I think what's worse is
Yes.
that before he becomes a football coach again, I'm pretty sure he's going to end up being on the broadcast again because he's young, he's telegenic, he's already charmed every single bad faith journalist out there, like quote unquote journalist out there. He is absolutely getting that, and that is more sickening. That's why I asked you how cynical you wanted me
Well,
to be.
Do you know
That
what's
is
them
more
versus the
cynical
world
than
right
him
now,
taking
Anish?
Iowa State or something like that.
Before you go any further, do you know it's them versus the world?
It's them, but I don't. And then they instantly tried to distance themselves from it, and it's like, what are you talking about?
I like that their AD put out an immediate statement, like completely embarrassed by it. I will at least give them a little modicum of credit for him saying.
I think
"Oh,
it's
that
nice
was-"
that the AD comes out in public every now and again. I think that's
I feel
good.
so bad for that AD because he took over immediately, and all of this just like hit everything. All
He's
of
been
this,
there like a year, hasn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
but all of this sown by the commissioner of
Oh,
DC, Jim Phillips. He was Northwestern's AD for 15 years, and he was
a number of
the-
guys seem to jump off that ship at the right time.
Oh, I wonder if they knew anything.
Right, you
Get
can't really
at it.
argue that you didn't know things when you got out at just the right time.
And meanwhile, the Big Ten, if the Big Ten other ADs had their choice, they would have wanted Jim Phillips as the commissioner. Instead, they got
Imagine that.
Kevin Warren.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
exactly. This is insane. This is
How much
how
uglier.
how cynical do you want me to be about this sport that I love that I'm about to put a stupid amount of money and time into this fall?
How about-
it's just
How about the fact that
this is the worst part
it's
of
a journalism school where anyone who went there will tell you that I went to Northwestern for journalism school, and nobody had any inkling. Nobody.
We had talked about this offline. The only organization that could have broken that story is one that couldn't have gotten their knees chopped off by Northwestern football, because Northwestern football, sorry to say, isn't as big of a deal as Northwestern's student newspaper. But you're telling me that the local papers in Chicago, one of the major metropolitan
How about the
areas in
Athletic?
North America,
How about the Athletic?
couldn't investigate
Completely
this?
populated with Northwestern grads.
You're telling me that nobody could dive into this? No, it had to be the student newspaper, because the only people that could actually publish what they knew were somebody that couldn't get strong-armed by Northwestern football. And that's the flip side of the coin
sure not
about
for lack
all
of
of this,
trying.
of Northwestern's journalism school being that prominent, is that student newspaper actually means something. It means something to the university. The academics at Northwestern actually mean something, and unlike most schools in the SEC or Big Ten, they wouldn't kneecap academic programs in service of their football program, right? But that is why that none of these like great Northwestern alums that are in journalism that are flooding ESPN and The Athletic right now broke this story. It's my least favorite part about the sport, and it's why Saudi Arabia is going to eventually buy into it. It's great. It's awesome.
It's a weird thing. We had a good, I think, very good discussion about the idea of how much you have to kiss the ring to get the story,
Gosh.
right?
Oh, Greg, why did you do this to me?
Yeah,
Fits
it's
his
good.
path. XFL,
It's
Liberty,
good. It's
Baylor,
good.
Auburn. I could not hate that more.
Right,
That is
and
happening.
Because you can see it.
He's 45 or something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a youngin'.
By the way, who's Auburn's current head coach now?
Dang it, that's so right.
never mind.
That path is
never mind.
perfect.
Oh, never mind. Yeah.
That path is perfect.
God, it's sick.
I talked to somebody who worked at Liberty, and they're like, yeah, their athletic department is willing to do about anything to become something special.
Oh,
So-
interesting. Somebody who would hire Hugh Freeze is willing to do anything and everything to win football games. Awesome. Cool. But no, Fitz is definitely either going to the XFL or going to a broadcast booth, and I am going.
XFL is a perfect fit because they'll come in, they'll brag about the fact that they're hazing, right? And that's what kind of what the XFL was doing a couple years ago.
They encourage unsportsmanlike conduct and
Yeah, exactly.
spearing with the helmet. No, maybe not. Yeah. But all right. Well, the other thing we were talking about right before you joined was why can't this is one of my things that's been stuck in my head.
Why internet go faster than 0.6 MB?
That is what I ask every day. But why can't the conferences? Why can't short of the super? You guys always right away go to super leagues. But why short of that? Why can't the Big Ten be what it's becoming? But then the non-revenue sports just continue. You just have a normal Big Ten. You have what it used to be, the original 10.
That's going to happen. I mean, I think what will happen is they'll try this kind of
And the pack,
quasi, right?
This is how I think the pack will completely die. But I think the way that it's reborn is like the Big East, which is through the non-revenues. But somebody in the comments here mentioned death of the Big East football really is the last time that we saw this. I think that the way the Pac-10, to your point, Boiler Dowd, the next way that it happens is that it's the non-revenue. I say non-revenue. It's the non-football sports that will realign.
It's even going to be awful for so help me understand this one. How next year those 4 schools are coming. It was going to be 2. They were figuring it out, and now it's going to be all 4. So you already play a 20-game conference basketball season, which I don't know about you guys. That feels really long to me. It feels like a hell of a grind.
Yeah.
So do you eliminate non-conference, which isn't that fun, I don't think, to get rid of non-conference, or you just cut it down and start the conference schedule December 1st and don't stop playing conference for 3 months? Or do you just not play the whole? Because if you play 20 conference games and there's, what is it going to be? 18 teams? 16? 18. I don't even know now. 18. It means you can only play 2 teams twice. Like by my math.
There's a lot of problems that are coming.
It's not possible.
I mean, no. The pod system is the only way that this works well. Anish's been talking about that for about 7 years. And it works. It would work pretty well, especially if you do the 5 teams in a pod. The problem that the Big 18 has is that pod is only 4 teams on the West Coast right now, right? You really need one more.
Well,
to
so
complete that.
no, so right now you
and they're probably going to expand east.
Give them Nebraska.
Yeah, not like I have a spreadsheet pulled up here that I've updated.
I don't think you
but
would.
2 4-team division or pods and 2 5-team pods is how this would work, and that could probably work out.
But
at
what do
least
you mean
in
by
football.
pods? You just
In
play your
football.
pod and then one other pod?
You play your pod.
Play your pod, and then you
others.
play 2 more. Yeah,
Yeah,
outside.
and then you
so it saves money
rotate.
on travel. Really.
So you rotate there, and then you protect whatever rivalries cross pod that you have to.
And it really, since the conference
the only
championship
way
will
to do
become something that was just based on ranking. at
But
that
even
point.
then,
Right,
even
because it's
okay,
imbalanced then. How
Right.
can you
Completely
but
imbalanced.
even then,
the complaint about the football schedule now?
even
Right.
then, just put the 4 teams. Put the 4 top teams.
4 pod winners
4
together.
pod winners, and then all of a sudden you have a Big Ten playoff.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this sucks. This is weird. This is so weird.
It's
How long
weird,
did-
but we talked about this, guys.
Exactly.
I was just watching
It's
a
gonna be normal.
wonderful story of a guy named Johnny Manziel on Netflix.
You watch that?
I watched it, and I can tell you, it's like, and everybody's watched one of these movies or shows where there's not a character in the story that you like.
There's no hero, right?
There's no hero. Like everybody, even
Everybody
people.
sucks.
I'm not even gonna say the guy that let me down in that one, but it's really easy to figure it out.
Johnny
And
Football.
it's a guy that's a Purdue alum, but that's all I'm going to tell you.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a patsy. Oh boy, I lost my point. I'm so focused on that story.
Manziel and about the sucking and Big Ten
We're almost
championship imbalanced.
I mean,
and the
this
pods,
is going to
and
be
you have a
normal.
little-
I mean, like this. I think the lesson is that this is just going to be normal soon, and this is just going to.
How long before the Big
what it
Ten basketball tournaments in Los Angeles?
is. They
Oh,
already put it out
3
to
years,
Vegas.
2 years.
No.
Done.
Didn't they already schedule
Yeah.
one in Vegas? Like 25 is
In
going to be in
Vegas?
Vegas. Yeah,
So
I'm
we're
almost
gonna-
positive it's 25.
You
we're
guys,
gonna
you guys. So can I? I'm asking a
So we're
serious
going to have
question.
18 schools and have the tournament not in one of the states we have a school in?
Correct.
Because it's
Maybe unless
middle
we add
J, it makes
UNLV.
sense. First, it's going to be there, and then it's going to be in Sydney, Nebraska, where there's nothing. So they'll show.
Nebraska, Wyoming one year.
That's where I ran out of gas, by the way.
figured.
There's nothing in Sydney, Nebraska.
Not even a gas station.
There's a gas station. It's called like middle of the nowhere. It's awful. So
So
you
the
guys
Big
like
Ten-
to gamble,
sorry,
and
so-
I'm not saying anything. Does it make? See, it makes me feel icky every time I see a college sporting event in Vegas. I'm sorry. I know I sound like a square, but I just hate it. I hate
It's
it.
gonna
It feels
happen.
filthy. It feels slimy. It feels like watching the Johnny Manziel documentary.
I've been to the tournament in Mohegan Sun, Connecticut
Yes.
twice, and you're literally in a casino and you walk to a doorway and you go into an arena. It's not even like, at least in Vegas, it would not be in the same building, right?
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
Only
Greg
there.
McManus is right. In Sydney, Nebraska, that's the former home of Cabela's. The building is still there. That was all that was in Sydney, Nebraska. And it's just like there are like 3 cars in that. parking lot.
Greg, you're not going to slip anything past Greg. He knows every square inch. of
He knows
Nebraska,
everything
it
about
sounds like.
Nebraska. He's not even a Nebraskan by.
He loves it though.
He does love it. He wants to be there forever.
Isn't
that's
his
cool.
wife from there? Isn't that why he's there?
I don't know. I would think so.
I saw
think
him at
What else would make you move to Nebraska?
the first time I met
That's a good woman.
Love the color
our
red.
man Greg was in Wrigley Field, and that was fun for the Purdue Northwestern game.
He's a good dude.
Oh,
The strange Purdue Northwestern football game.
Oh,
in
that was a
Wrigley
fun one.
Field. That's so strange. It's so weird.
did they go only one direction again in that game?
No, they went
No.
both, but
And that's where Milton Wright, did he play big in that
Yes.
one?
Yeah.
Yes. Huge game.
RIP, wherever you are.
I was going to say, Rip, that's right.
gone but not
Gone
forgotten.
but forgotten, darn it.
No,
I didn't even know if I should have made that
can't do
joke, but I
that.
went for it. Gosh darn it.
Well, it's
What's college football look like in 10 years, guys? You guys know a lot.
not
I
like
don't
this.
I think in 10 years is when the great shrinkage happens. This is when that. Yeah,
Know. Happens to me all the time.
just
Yeah, exactly.
just like
The
every
great
other
shrinkage.
major
what
conference
I'm going to call you
realignment,
from now on.
just like every other realignment decision is always done impulsively and with no thinking about
Exactly.
the implications. I still think a super league is the same thing because Here's the thing: all these massive ego programs will be the ones to go to it.
You
right? And then-
want to actually do it? You want to actually do the names?
Well, and then as I-
end this
Because
with
he's
the
got
names.
yes,
somebody's
but let me
got
just
it.
finish this statement. I do want to do that, but
yes,
somebody,
in fact.
but somebody has to finish last.
Yeah.
Someone will be bad, and
This
then
is a
after
great-
that happens a few times, everyone will be like,
This sucks.
"Why are they in our conference? Why are they here? They suck." So
The-
does this come with relegation? Because then is when you really need relegation.
I think relegation would be so perfect for college football, and relegation will never happen in America. That will never take off. Here.
It's so good.
It's
so
perfect.
good.
Too good.
that
That's
it
why we
won't
won't
happen.
have it.
Exactly. Could you imagine a Super League of 12
Dude, the
And
last
then
game of
with
the
just the
season
full-
would be worth so much.
with the last 3 or 4 going back down to the Big Ten, SEC, doing that, and all
like
of a sudden,
Purdue jumping up.
yeah, and for a year we get our clocks cleaned in the Super League, but who cares? We're there. We made it.
said
We
clock,
get the
right?
checks. Yeah. Big shrink. So
What is the clock cleaning?
let's
Every
start with
day.
let's start with the Big Ten. Michigan in, Ohio State, Penn State,
Think about. Wait a minute.
USC.
But wait a minute.
Penn
Think
State was
about how
bad 2 years ago.
Michigan. How many years ago was Michigan like worse than Purdue?
Remember though, it's
8 years
brands.
Rich Rod era was rough.
10 years
Brands.
ago?
It is
Amazing.
brands. It doesn't matter how good the team is.
No, it matters.
It's,
It matters how good they are.
It
Is
matters
Notre Dame
how.
Super League?
Yes, of course. Notre Dame's the brand. Notre Dame is there, so that puts us at
Notre Dame's not
5.
going to join a conference.
No, they're not going to join a conference. They'll join Super League though. This is how they keep their egos pure. Say they never joined a conference,
I
and
see. This
Super
is.
League
I don't.
technically isn't.
I mean, I don't
I'm
need.
already
To, I
looking
don't
forward
mean
to
to
them
be.
finishing
I
the
know
last
that's a hypocritical.
Hippocratic?
Yeah, it's oath.
the oath?
The oath
Hip-
he's taken.
Yeah,
Hypocritical? Is that the word? we're
Hippopotamus.
hypocritical. That's the one. Gosh, I'm struggling.
getting? Hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus. It's a hippopotamus school. No, but it's a place
anybody
that
a hippo?
they don't want they don't ever want to admit they actually are what they are, right? They really don't. But the thing about saying we're going to join the super conference that's all about money, I think I don't know if they'll do that.
They will 100% do that. That is what they're waiting for.
I hope
They
so.
will. They will never join the Big Ten. They will never. The ACC is a sinking ship, like you said, Boiler Dowd.
Did you hear
They will never
Schwarber
join
said you don't want to
officially.
be the AD that gives up independence.
They will do the Super League and
So
call
he's
it.
retired.
not
He's
a
already ready to
conference.
retire. It's already
Exactly.
happened.
He's gone. It doesn't matter. Notre Dame puts him at 5. Now let's go to the SEC. There are a couple more in the Big Ten on the borderline, but let's go to the SEC and do the shoe-ins for right now. Bama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma, and Texas. We are already at 12, my friends.
Florida's in?
Yeah,
Texas
of course.
is in?
Of course. Brands.
Texas.
It doesn't matter how good the school is. It doesn't matter how good the
But
program
about
is.
your relegation thing, they would never believe
It's not going to be relegation. These are permanent members. These are the biggest.
Texas and Florida just going to get their asses kicked around the yard.
Right.
And
right,
it's
that'll
and
be
they
fun.
will bring in the
Oh,
big
they'll be like
F and the
Bears.
big T.
That will be
They'll
fun.
Huge money.
It will be fun to see Notre Dame go like 5-7 every year.
Yeah, it'll be so good. And then we're not quite done because Clemson and Florida State probably have
No USC.
bids there.
Oh, you said
Yeah,
USC.
USC. I already said. So that's 14 right now. That's 14.
Oregon State, because I hear their Twitter people say they're really a good brand.
I love it. But 14 teams, that's it. That's where you begin. Right? And the
You got to go
ones
to
that
16, don't you?
Yeah.
so the
I think it was
ones that you could add,
A&M.
Miami, North Carolina, A&M, and then you go to the Big Ten,
If you're talking about
Oregon,
brands.
Nebraska?
Oregon, Wisconsin,
Just
Iowa,
brands, not about
Nebraska.
winning.
Yeah. And
Iowa.
Oregon, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska. Iowa
GTFO.
again. These are
Not
the
a
teams that would
brand.
be
Iowa's
these are
no
the teams that
brand.
would be in the conversation.
A&M is there light years ahead of Iowa.
Yeah.
And you know I
agree.
hate them. But,
I
their
agree.
fan
I mean,
base, their facilities,
Wisconsin will be there before Iowa. Or yeah, I mean
correct. I agree.
But
I don't
these
think
are the
they'd be
teams
there.
that are on the borderline. There are 14
Yes.
shoo-ins, and then there are teams that are. It depends on how big they want to get. This is what I think, and all of a sudden, the Big Ten will be Purdue and.
But
and
everyone forgets
Minnesota.
everything is fluid. You go back 10 years, Georgia wouldn't be in that conversation. You go ahead 5 or 10 years, and Alabama might
Purdue
not
will be in the conversation.
Alabama
Exactly.
won't be because old man Saban won't be there anymore. They
It's
were
brand.
shitty
Oh, I can't
before
wait.
he went there,
Alabama's
and they'll
back
be
to where
shitty
they were
after he
15
leaves.
years ago. Yes.
What?
I
It'll
can't
be
wait till
brands.
Alabama's back to where they were 15 years ago, chasing after somebody, hiring Dennis Franchione.
Oh, so great.
Holy moly!
Good time.
Hiring,
You think James Franklin takes the job once he's gone? Oops, did I say that out loud?
That would
I think
be
he's damaged goods, man.
No, but I would love that.
Not after they make the playoff this year.
They're not gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna.
We'll
do
get into that next week.
They're
We're
gonna
teasing our Big Ten. Our Big Ten preview show
Monday.
That's
next week.
next Monday on the Handsome Hour.
every Monday.
Monday.
We're planning to do this every Monday, which I know. I like how I say that like that. That's some sort of profound decision we've made, like every other show does. A regular slot. We used to do every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was without Anish. I don't know how we muddled through it without Anish to guide us.
Given how this has gone, I don't know either.
It usually started the way this one did.
Oh, it did. It did. But you guys talked and made fun of me for 15 minutes.
You would do the same thing, and
we have done the same
would
thing.
I do
In
that.
fact,
Never ever. No, Anish. I
No.
don't. When Jay's not on the show, it's all positive. I don't even. If I can't say something nice, I don't say it. It's just me. It's the way I am.
and on that note,
Well, are there any more questions from the interwebs, or is that it?
that was a tight 80 minutes. No, there's no questions. Screw the questions. Screw you.
we had enough.
We got to leave
content.
something in the can.
There's every week. Hope springs. It's always new stuff. Always new material.
Week 0 on the horizon, boys. No week without football from now through the Super Bowl.
It's awesome.
Just putting that out there.
Do you think we could get Bob Diaco on this show? I bet we could. What's he doing right now?
I don't think he's busy.
I don't think he's busy at all. We could have like
Was that
over
last
my-
year? He was
There you
there?
go.
No,
Over
it was
my
Yes,
dead
Pat
body.
Fitzgerald and Diaco.
Oh my God,
Monday
Night
that's going to be like a Twitch stream or something. Like it's going to happen.
How
Oh,
easy would it
God.
be to get? It'd be very simple.
Noodle's asking us for a Navy Notre Dame prediction for this weekend. I don't know, Noodle. We're not in the prediction business, but I can tell you who we'll be pulling for. God bless America.
Yeah,
That's right. What are you going to do? Anti-troops? What are you talking about?
Someone was it the
Yeah,
shutdown podcast?
un-American.
They said Notre Dame's crossing an ocean to face Navy. This is not going to go well for them.
Yeah, it's a bad idea. You don't want any part of that.
You don't want it.
Are you guys excited about the Tiller Tunnel?
Oh yeah.
It's nice. It looks nice.
Cool. Looks
The
cool.
Tiller Tunnel. I'm going to be the crabapple on this. The
Okay.
Tiller Tunnel looks better than the South End Zone. It's a cooler idea. And it's
Oh
better.
no! It does. It
I
does.
wish the South End Zone. If they were going to do it like this, I wish it were done.
but can't go
10
higher now. The scoreboard's right there. They
I'm
covered the-
fine. I wish they
You
could
can't
have
lift
they
that
sh-
scoreboard. It's
They
very
should have done
rounded.
this 10 years ago. If this was what we were doing,
Yeah, no
why
doubt.
did we do the patio setup for like 7 years?
Because
They
Morgan.
had to save.
Penny
He's with
pinching,
Milton Wright. by
putting
the
it
way.
away in the savings account.
You know what I would have taken instead? This is because I'm an old man. Real seats in the stadium.
Yeah.
Does that make me an
Oh,
old
dude,
man?
I went to North Carolina. They have real seats in like 3/4 of the stadium. That's kind of cool
Phenomenal,
to have
isn't it?
seat backs, and yeah, it's pretty great. But you can't do it. How would you do it, Jay? I don't even. How could you put those in?
There are no seats.
There's no way to
not-
do it.
Nobody's
There's already
done it.
benches there. We can't just.
Yeah, you can't. What do you have to move those? You have to rip
Nobody
those out.
comes
There's
into
no way to
Raleigh.
do it. It's impossible. I
Nobody
mean, they'd
comes.
have to call in a team of engineers. Where are they going to find engineers?
Where are they going to find that?
Exactly. This is
Middle
these
of
are
a cornfield? It's ridiculous.
Oh, good
All
question.
right.
Is Dad
Oh,
gonna
this
get an
guy.
updated
That's a
background?
good. That's a good question. I can't get. There we go. That's a good question. So that's a bootleg picture from Etsy. So the person who sold it to me is in France. That's not a joke. And they stopped selling it the week after I bought it. They got cracked down on. Not
Absolutely a
joking.
copyright
So-
claim. We
oh,
know.
yeah, there's
yeah,
a
you
big
didn't
one.
have to
like
say.
the stickers that you made that someone in our following ordered a whole shit ton of before they got taken down. Remember that?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Suck on that. Got all of it. By the way, somebody in it's got to be Braden Smith's family found some of those. But Jay got stuck by
But
those.
Jay's
It's
eyes.
awesome.
This is my favorite.
I love it. He got
This
so
is my
excited.
favorite.
Dolan internet guy.
Let him down. Dolan let him down.
But Braden
Oh,
Smith's
we know.
family, I think, found that sticker on Redbubble.
Yeah, of
And
course.
They spent a lot of money on that. I mean, like, I'm not kidding. Like, I was like, I mean, I make cents, like 2 to 4 cents on one of those things when they're sold. That's not an exaggeration. And I was just lit up. My emails like, oh, here comes another one. Here comes another one. Here comes another one. I was like, okay, they found this because I don't, that I can't tell people that sticker's there. You got to find it. So.
I missed the story. What happened?
So the Braden
froze
Smith,
in a
where he
really
hit the
funny
three
spot.
over
Shut
the
up.
Ohio State guy, and he's looking at him. And tell me who is it? King is on the bench pointing at the Ohio State player.
Oh yes.
Mm,
I remember.
So
that.
I augmented it a bit. So King is more front. He's like the only guy. It's Smith, King, and whoever the Ohio State player is on the floor looking dejected. One of those family members found that. And they bought clocks, they bought shirts, they bought stickers. I was like, this is awesome. I think they may even bought a shower curtain. I love it.
That's hilarious.
It
That's
is
really
great.
funny.
And
It's great.
it was all on Redbubble.
Yeah, Redbubble. The Boiler D shop on Redbubble. I don't know who that is.
The big
Nobody
Robbing
knows.
Boiler D.
No, there's no way to know. I mean,
Big
that's the thing.
shrink.
There's no- Yep.
Big shrink.
Big shrink.
The
Big
noodle
shrink
asks when
got
the
you
rock
again.
are coming back.
Big shrinkage is all up in your face. Wait a second. That's not what you want.
The noodle asks when the rocks glasses are coming back. Those may never come back.
I broke it.
It was a
I'm
bad
down
idea.
I'm down to
was-
one.
I'm down to one. It's
They were
a
very
bad
hard
idea.
to ship, and it turns out they're even hard for these numbskulls to even handle.
Oh, there's one. My wife did it.
Yeah. So instead, we have these. Go to the boat sports only
Those don't
fans,
break, Anish.
and you can run a truck over them, and they're fine.
Hey, have we mentioned AJ's? Because I know that nobody's
have
paying
not.
us yet, but they're worth mentioning.
AJ's. We have mentioned them in passing because we were
Okay.
We were reminiscing about good times at AJ's. But go to eat AJ's. Go to Home Field. You know all these things.
My son
I
is
was on
already
customer
looking
service
forward
with,
to. Already looking
with
forward to
Metro
going to
now.
AJ's when he gets back out there. He's literally planning out the meals. Triple X, AJ's. He's at that age now. He's a teenager, so it's all about when to eat. I'm like, oh, he's one of us
Let's
now.
do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Hanging out with the dudes. Guys being dudes.
Guys being dudes, dudes being guys. It's the silliest, greatest soundbite ever. Well, it's been a pleasure, guys. I want to tell you how much I appreciate your patience during me getting my crank internet machine started.
The hamster wheel. Need to wake up.
It's very loud. That's why you have to have noise canceling here in the studio.
Indeed. Yeah. You're so expensive filters. Yes.
Jay, how is your hair that dark still? How is that
So good.
even possible? How do you have that much hair? How is that dark? There's so many things that I don't understand.
This is the only gray part right here. That's
Doesn't
it.
make any sense. And mine just gets grayer.
I got a little
and
bit,
grayer.
but you can't tell because I'm on poor lighting. But
I've had these. I've had gray temples since I was like 25.
Oh.
See, great
Okay.
temples, that's how you look wise, and that's when your political career starts with great temples. At the time you leave office, one niche. Great.
That's it. Oh, it's happening. Yeah.
I did not have
Big shrinkage.
shrinkage. Yeah.
all right, time to pull the ripcord.
All right. Love you guys. Good night.